Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today it's just going to be a quick little vlog really. I've come up to Norwich to come to Wex Photographic. It is in that building there. This is where I buy a majority of all my camera equipment from, and I've come up to have a little look at a lens that I've been wanting for a very long time. So I'm going to go have a look at it and see whether I think I can treat myself. But if I do, then I thought I could give a little review on it and a bit of a run through. It is a lens that has been around for a little while, but the reviews I've read have been fantastic. So I'm going to go have a little look. Right, hello, I am back home now. So I had a very successful shopping trip in Norwich at the weekend. Far too much money was spent, but it was my birthday, so that's my excuse. So like I said, I did purchase two things from Wex in the end. So they're behind me here in this bag. Now Wex, I'm always shopping at. It's where I buy majority of my equipment from. If you haven't heard of them, definitely check them out. They do have branches in London, Norwich, other places, but you can order basically everything online as well. And what I love about Wex is you can get brand new stuff on there, but they also do second-hand equipment, and I do buy the majority of my stuff second-hand. I like to go and test it, so I am fortunate I live near Norwich or London. Norwich is where the big warehouse is, they have everything there. But it's all, you know, it's going to be good because they do check it over before buying it in. They have to do thorough checks. The used stuff still comes with guarantees, basically the same as what new would. And at the moment, I don't like to go and spend all the money on brand new when, like, especially if the equipment is new out. I don't want to go spend all that money if it then turns out not to be the best piece of equipment released. And I'm always upgrading my gear, so that way I know I'm not spending too much money, so when I upgrade I don't feel guilty that I've spent all this money suddenly. And basically, if you are starting out in the photography world, you don't need to go and buy all this top expensive gear that you see photographers using. I am very fortunate that I have been able to buy some really nice equipment, but I didn't always start, you know, the nicest of equipment. My first camera was a Canon 50D, I think, and I actually won that for a competition, and I had that camera for about 10 years, and I used that and used it, and the poor thing now has given up on me. Obviously when I went professional I did upgrade my equipment, but I was still using that camera and it still produced some beautiful images. So if you are starting out, don't jump and buy brand new top of the range gear. Definitely look at the second-hand option and go and play with equipment. That's exactly what I do at Wex, and you turn out maybe wanting something that you didn't realise you actually needed. So anyway, I'm going to show you what I got. So I'm going to keep today's video fairly short as I've got a very busy couple of weeks coming up and I need to get on with some jobs. So let's have a look. Ooh, the first thing I purchased was, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it out. I didn't plan this very well, did I? So yeah, first thing I purchased comes in, so it's not the original box. This here isn't something I really needed, but basically I do a little bit of wedding photography now and again. I don't do much of it anymore. I used to do actually the most of it when I was about 16, 17. I did loads of weddings. I loved them. And now as I've got that bit older, you do find what you enjoy the most, and weddings at the moment aren't on my top favourites. But I have got a wedding, it's actually tomorrow, so I have left this video quite late, as it's going up this evening hopefully. But I like to always, when I shoot a wedding, have a backup camera. And normally what I do is I actually rent them. You can rent them from Wex, there's Camera Jungle, there's all other companies. But that adds up because each time I'm spending about 100, maybe over £100 renting a camera. So I decided to purchase one. So this here I purchased, it's an old camera. Again, this one is about 10 years old I think, so you know it's only going to be my spare bit of equipment. Oops, my leaflets. But this was the Canon, I think it's a 5D Mark II I purchased. Let me pop it out. Yeah, 5D Mark II. So this one here, I don't know if you can see that. So it looks exactly the same as my one, which is here. So this is the 5D Mark III, this one here. They have now brought out, I believe it's the Mark IV, which is the one I have got my eyes on. So hopefully I'll be upgrading very shortly, but we'll see how that one goes, as that is quite expensive. But basically the reason I wanted to go for, well, it wasn't going to be this one, I wasn't too sure. It was between this and it was the, I think it was the 70D, I can't 100% remember. I wanted a full frame. That's what I'm used to shooting with the Mark III, and that's what I wanted as well, because you're not going to get that cropped image on the lens. So yeah, I purchased the Mark II, which, to be fair, if you're just starting out in photography, this wasn't a bad price, and it is quite a good little camera. It's set out exactly like my old 50D was. So I'm going to show you. So on the back, it's set out like this. You've got your main sort of buttons along the side, you've got your on off, your turny dial, and then you've also got your little screen, which I like to have because you have all your ISO, aperture, shutter speed, all that up here with your buttons, so it's easy to get to. So to be fair, it's not a bad, you know, little camera. The only bad point about it, I think it only has 9 focus points, and I'm used to a lot more on the Mark III, so that's going to take some getting used to again. But let me see if I can hold these both up at the same time. But if you look at the backs of them, you know, there's not a lot of difference there really at all. Some buttons have slightly moved, but otherwise not a lot. So for a backup camera, I think I paid about £400 for it, so that's not a lot of money at all really in the camera world, considering what you can pay for them. So a little backup to shove in my bag for tomorrow, and I've got it just hanging around, and then when I do eventually upgrade, it may be time to, you know, pass this one on to someone, or I'll keep it and have a third backup, you never know. So yeah, that was my extra naughty little purchase I didn't really need, but I did purchase that one. So we'll go on to the item that I did go there to purchase, which was this here. So you've probably all heard of it. It's a Canon lens, and it's the 24-70mm f2.8 version 2 USM. I have been wanting this lens for so long, I can't even tell you. It's been in my shopping basket for months and months and months, probably ever since it came out. I've just, oh, it's just looked amazing. I've watched so many reviews on the lens, I've read so many reviews, I've asked other photographers I know, and everyone said it's the best lens you can get. And the reason why I've held off on getting the lens is I didn't want to go buy a lens if it wasn't suited for the photography I do. So at the moment I do a lot of family, children and pets, and I do, obviously if you've seen, I delve into the fashion world. So I don't want to go and buy a lens if it's not going to be suited to that. So I did more and more research, checking it out, and it turns out apparently it's the best lens for all of those things. So I was like, yes, I can get my lens. So I braved it. I went on Wex's website basically first, because if you do know this lens, you know brand new, it's a lot of money. It's around £1,750. So it is a lot of money. So I went on Wex, had a look at their second-hand ones, but what you do have to be careful of is the grading on second-hand. Like, they go up in grades, so this one I ended up getting was a grade 9, but they had loads for a grade 7 or 8. Now, if you're just starting out in photography, that's absolutely fine. It just means what damage they've got, what wear and tear. But what I wanted is, I didn't want any damage to the lens. I wanted it nice and clean. I wanted it basically like new, which this one was. So I had to pay a bit extra for it, more than what they kind of normally are second hand, but I did save money on it being new. So I bought it and I'm so excited. So I'll unbox it. So I was quite lucky, it comes with everything it should, because I don't believe it was used that much beforehand. So what I pulled out of my camera box was, it comes with all the little booklets on it, so you get a nice booklet there to read on there. And then when we pop it out, so in the top lid there, this flat thing, if I push it out, it's actually its little drawstring bag. So that's quite handy to have, just to keep it extra protected. So let me put it out. So it comes with this here, which obviously is like a little reflector for the sun, which not a lot of lenses come with, so that's good. So here it is. I absolutely love it. So it's a nice big chunky lens, but I know it doesn't look like much like that, but when I tried it in the store, I genuinely couldn't believe the difference in images that I was seeing. It was, oh, I just knew then I had to have it. It's brilliant. Because of obviously the f2.8, it really can blur out that background. I don't want that in all the images I take, so it depends obviously how you where you shoot from, what angle, what distance, what you zoom. But if you are shooting, or if you're shooting like maybe a close head portrait, or when I shoot outdoors a lot here with dogs or animals, you sometimes want the foreground a bit blurry. You don't want that all sharp, and that does exactly that. But likewise, it can keep around the surroundings in focus depending what you do your settings on your camera as well. So yes, very, very happy with that. I've only trial run it briefly this week. Like I said, I've got a hectic couple of weeks coming up, so the first proper kind of time I'm using it is for a wedding tomorrow. I've tried it just outside, just generally. I've tried it in my studio, I've tried it in my garden, just tried it around the house. So yeah, so I have been playing around with it, and so far I can't find a fault with it. So I'm going to show you some images I've taken in the garden with it. I don't know how well it's going to show on camera, but I just wanted to try and give you an idea of what they came out like. So let's see what we've got that I can show you. So for example, this one here is just of some white flowers in the garden. Now I did shoot this zoomed in, so I stood further back, so that was maximum zoom in, and obviously it's focused kind of more around this section here. Now what I was worried about is obviously it's not a macro lens, but when you do zoom in, you can tell that all of that is still so sharp, so it hasn't distorted it at all. So let's see what else I took on there. So I mean, this isn't the prettiest of image, but it's of a tulip, and as you can see I focused directly on the tulip and all the background is completely out of focus, so that is the main focus point there. And I've barely touched my settings in the garden today. I was just having a quick play around, see what was happening. Let's see, so like here's what I mean, again not the prettiest of shot, but I wanted this to be in focus and I wanted to keep the majority of these slightly out of focus there. But yeah, I'd say those were the main images I've taken to give a bit of an idea. Obviously I'm going to be shooting with it a lot more in the next couple of weeks. I've got some lovely shoots coming up. So yeah, this summer's starting to get quite busy. But no, I thought I'd give you a quick unboxing really to show you it. Obviously it's not a proper review, but I can do more detailed, you know, later on when I've tried it out a bit more. But at the moment, I definitely would recommend it. But if you are just starting out in photography and want any advice on equipment to buy, please do ask, because I'm certainly one that likes to get a bargain, so I can definitely point you in the right direction of getting the bargain but the right equipment as well. So that is all from me today. Hopefully I'll see you in next week's video if one can get up. Like I said, it's a bit hectic. But if there's anything else you'd like to see at all, do leave it in the comments below, because I am looking always for new ideas. I want to try and be helpful. But no, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe, and check out all my other videos, including the most recent ones where I did a bluebell shoot and my fashion shoot. That was a good fun shoot. But no, if you'd like to see anything else, please let me know, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Bye!